I think in the past couple of years, there's been a lot of introspection. A lot of people are really looking at their work scenario, whether they're the right fit for it, whether it's the right fit for them. And the person we are talking to today, Nancy Parsons, is kind of an expert in this because Nancy, how did you kind of get started in this field?
Yes, about 30 years ago almost, I started studying personality traits, as well as doing performance 360s and so forth, and working on executive and leadership coaching. So that's been my career. And since we founded CDR 23 years ago, that's exactly what we've been working on, is developing people, leaders, executives, high-level professionals, and to make sure that they find the best fit for them, you know, to an end that they're happy as well, both things. Got to find what you're good at and what you love to do. So that's what we work on.
How has that focus changed over the past couple of years for you?
Yeah, so a few years back, actually, one of our clients, the U.S. Army Civilian University, asked us if we could do some kind of multimedia coach. They loved our assessments, they loved the live coaching, but there's no way you can scale it out. They said they had 10,000 employees who needed it, you know, at lower levels. So I said to the chief learning officer back then, I said, yeah, I think we can do that. Let me get on it. So just coincidentally, last year during COVID in July, we launched what we call CDR-U Coach. And it's an in-depth AI type coaching, or it feels like AI, where an individual gets debriefed on the full 3 assessments with their own avatar coach. And then there's developmental action plans too, where you take what you learn and you start building action plans. And there's also a career action planning if you're not sure what you want to do with your career. So it's so exciting. So now we can virtually coach everyone in an organization. And for us, the key is self-awareness. People really need to be self-aware to drive their careers in the best direction. And studies show that most people aren't. Harvard Business Journal just reported that only 10 to 15% of people are really self-aware. So I think you're right. With COVID, it's given us a chance, and virtual working, and things have changed so much. People are starting to think, is this what I really want? You know, it's given everybody, I think, as you said, like a pause to say, or most people, is this the right track for me? So we're so excited because, like I said, my career has been dedicated, and the coaches we work with, to people in the last quarter of their career. Now we're turning that on its head. So we can do, you know, the beginning when people need it the most, when you're just starting out and trying to figure yourself out and where you need to go. So
you mentioned most people are unaware. I celebrated 20 years as a journalist this month. And it wasn't until last year that I did a similar review and looked at my strengths and weaknesses. I mean, it broke it down clear as day. And It was abundantly clear to me at that point why I was very successful at some things and why other things were a challenge. And it made me realize a lot of that is baked in.
Oh, yes.
It's tough. It's tough to get rid of. But if you're aware, there are things you can work on, and just having that mindset, like, I know this is tough for me. So what can I do to combat that and be better?
Right. Good. Yes, absolutely. One of the things that we're a little different in that we say you can't teach fish to fly. We try to find, you know, what is hard baked, as you said, what are your inherent capabilities and your intrinsic motivators? Go with that. Now, and what we mean is you can't change people whole scale. So if you're an extrovert and you love to present and you're never going to take a job as an introvert accountant. That's hard wiring. And by the time, the research shows, by the time you're working adult age, you are who you are. We can't, and that's why, like, even our assessments can be used for selection screening. They predict performance because we don't change in significant ways, if that makes sense. But we can develop, know those short sides. What are we going to do if we're not very good here? Maybe we use an app or we do something, or maybe somebody else does that for us. We switch.
And that's really an awakening that I think corporations are having. As we were talking before I hit record about, it was just always trying to fit everybody into the same square peg. And now we're realizing there's all different sorts of sizes for positions, different style pegs, and there's enough to kind of sprinkle in and cover everything.
Right. And that's where, like, flexible job descriptions where everyone doesn't have to have that same cookie cutter role is important. The other thing that we do is we actually find hidden talent in organizations. Because people are not very self-aware, they often don't even know what their best talents are. So they go underdeveloped. This, particularly with women and minorities, we see this too. So if we can get them early, we can actually help them develop. Or if somebody's like, if they're laid off in one field or something closes, they may have other gifts they don't even know that they have. So that's why it's so important. We also help transitioning veterans, things to help them get into the right, we've done a number of initiatives helping for them for career transition to get into the right spot. So they don't waste any time once they come back, going into dead end jobs or jobs that they don't fit very well. So
that has to be fulfilling to kind of help people see and guide them to their passion.
Oh, it's the best. I couldn't have written a better job description for myself. I love it. Just the aha moments and people. I've had people just weep and say, I can't believe this. I knew intuitively I should be doing something else. This just opens my eyes, and people, the other thing that happens is everybody's so busy, and pre-COVID, we're all on this rat race that you don't take time out for yourself. So this is kind of like a spa for you, for your well-being. That's what it always reminds me of, how we go to get a massage. Well, you need this for your own well-being, to be in the right roles, for your happiness. And also so you can really be passionate and succeed at whatever it is you want to be, that you're good at, right?
It absolutely makes sense. And we do have that new focus. How do people go about starting this process with you?
Yeah, all they need to do is reach out to us. Our website is CDR-U.com, or they can reach out to me on LinkedIn and we can get them going. And so the coach, they can take it online. And here's the interesting thing, when we did our beta testing last year, we don't know how people are going to react to being coached by an avatar, right? And it's a humanoid, it's a human, but they get to pick their own. If they don't like it, they can pick another one. But people are actually saying, I like it. I feel safer because I'm in the non-judgment zone. When I'm hearing all this new information, the avatar is not making any judgments and I can pause and take my time. So they actually say they feel this psychological safety kind of thing with their avatar coach, which really did surprise me. I wasn't quite expecting that.
But that totally makes sense because, you have a meeting with your boss or supervisor or something. There's always that added layer of stress. Is this being held again? All of these layers that you build for yourself. And if it's AI, it takes that away, and it's more. I would probably guess more productive because you're more accepting.
Yeah, and you can pause it. You can go back. You can even go back 2 months. Like if you're thinking about a job change and you want to make sure, is this really a good fit? You can go back and replay it. You can update your developmental action plan anytime. So if you accomplish a few things, you can add some more, So it's really flexible, but it's so personal. A funny story, my husband took it and he's a physician, he took parts of it here at home. And I walked in while he was listening to part of it. And I stood there and he goes, excuse me, do you mind? I'm with my avatar. So then I left. I was like, it was kind of funny for him to try it and see what he thought. And he loved it. He was surprised. He was really impressed.
Well, I think it is so important as we're all kind of reevaluating, as we're, circumstances change, family dynamics change. And it's great to have a tool that helps you kind of assess what success could look like for you.
Exactly. And it stays with you. It's sustainable since we don't change in any substantial way. 2 years from now, it's still good. I coached a guy who was a PhD psychologist who had taken it like 14 years ago, but never had feedback. When I coached him, it was still spot on to the subscale level. Then one other thing that is interesting too, what we do, it's not just like linear feedback. We're not like reading a report. The avatar is not doing that. They're actually like providing coaching feedback and tips. But the other thing that it does is it links the data. There's a lot of different data points and it will connect them. So no two are the same. No two individuals are the same. It's that personalized. It's very cool.
Fascinating. Well, Nancy, was there anything else that you wanted to mention that I didn't ask about?
Now, the only other thing is we are also, we do a lot of work in helping women leaders and I've written 2 books. We've researched what's holding women back. So that's another passion of ours. So, we're doing a reveal program for women. So we love to help aspiring women leaders. And that's kind of our sweet spot as well. Veterans and women leaders and everyone that we can help, obviously. So, but thank you. I really appreciate, talking to you about this. We're so excited.
Yeah, you bet. And we'll be sure to put more information online. So it's just an easy click for folks on khou.com. Nancy, thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Brandy. Thank you.